What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we'll be taking a look at the brand new Hammond Collection releases. Well, they're not released, just leaks. This specific Hammond Collection line has gotten some hate, and there are some stuff where they kind of failed. And today I'm going to be sharing my opinion on all 6 of them, and I will be ranking them from worst to best. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to give a quick honorable mention to the Hammond Collection life-size Dolores. Now, I do kind of have a reason on not really ranking this one. It's because I don't really know how to feel about this one. Like, the Hammond Collection has done like miniature figures such as the Junior, like the T-Rex Junior. That was a very nice figure. And I don't really know, like, why would they start off like a life-size category with Dolores? I feel like they could have started it with Bumpy or something. And I feel like Dolores, I would have rather kind of like a miniature Hammond Collection Dolores, because like that's like only like just a bit smaller than Junior. So I mean, this figure overall is like really great. There's so much detail, so much color to it. There are some tints where like I feel like they could have done a bit better. But overall, this is honestly a pretty nice figure. Once again, this is an honorable mention. I don't really know where to rank this one, so that's why it's here. So anyways, now we will start the top 5. Coming in at 5th spot, I'm going to have to give it to the Hypsilophodon. There's not really much to say about this one, because like it's a species that I don't really know, and I feel like they could have done a bit better with the color. The face really seems kind of like dark, and from this specific image at least, the eye does look kind of like the same color as like the little paint around it. So it's like very like hard to see, and the colors are like pretty dark. And plus, this is one that wasn't really that anticipated by fans, so there's not really much to say about this one. I can say it's not that bad, but I'm not saying that it's good either, because there are some spots where like it could have done a bit better. Of course, I do like the painted claws on the hands as well as the feet. I think that's a really good job that they did. Overall, like, as I said, there's not really much to talk about on this one. In my opinion, it does really look like just the Dryosaurus repaint. And once again, this is one of those scream face ones. Like, it does have that little, like, jaw thing, like the removable jaw, which, again, it's not really a good idea. I feel like it would have been a lot better with the hinges. I feel like they should just make like a line where it's just Hammond's Collection Scream Face and have Dryosaurus and Hypsilophodon in them. That would be kind of funny. I mean, to be honest, Dryosaurus wasn't really that bad, and if Hypsilophodon's technically like the same thing, so it may not be that bad, but it's definitely not that many people's favorites, because I feel like the others are a bit better. But anyways, we're going to move on to the 4th spot. 4th spot is going to the Mutodon. I really don't really like this one. I am ranking it higher than the Hypsilophodon, and that's because I don't know nothing about the Hypsilophodon. But the Mutodon has had so much potential. Like, I feel like it does really look like the Raptor scale like figure. It could be like a bit bigger, like perhaps somewhere by like the Baryonyx, perhaps. And there's just so much stuff that are like really wrong with it. Like, for example, the head sculpt is really one of the reasons why I hadn't picked up the Ultimate Damage one. I have seen it in Walmart's. But I was really waiting for the Hammond Collection. Like, oh, let's just see what the Hammond Collection has to bring. To be honest, I'm going to have to pick up both of them just to have the Mutodon, because they really look alike. The head sculpt, I mean, the sculpt isn't bad. But I feel like they made it look like way too cartoony. And the claws aren't painted. Like on the wings, they're not painted. They're just with that yellow color, which isn't even the color for the Mutodon. On the leg, they're not painted either. It may look painted, but that's just the brown color. The Mutodon isn't brown nor yellow at all. Like on the paint job, they didn't really do that good of a job. So this is kind of a disappointment. I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's not good either. The sculpt, once again, is pretty good. Another thing that kind of bugs me would be the replaceable wings. Like, Mattel has done bendable stuff in the Hammond Collection before, like the tail. That was bendable. I feel like they could have done the same thing with the wings. Look, on the main line, Quetzalcoatlus, the wings would bend. I feel like that would have been so good for this one. Also, another thing I want to point out on the head, it really does look like the mouth wouldn't be able to close too much because the teeth look really big. And I'm going to be 100% honest. The Ultimate Damage paint job is honestly kind of a bit better than this one. It's more accurate, at least. Like, I really feel like being in the Hammond Collection, it would have been a lot better having the actual paint job. Like, as like a mainline figure, like just different colors, which is something they've done a lot in the mainline, would be better. But for the Hammond Collection, it would have definitely been better, the actual paint job, which is like a blackish gray with like tints of blue. But yeah, this is not the colors of the Mutodon at all. I'm technically showing a bit of more hate to this one than what I did with the Hypsilophodon, but that's because I didn't even know what to say for the Hypsilophodon. And this one, I do have a lot to say. But overall, I guess I'm going to have to pick it up to have like a Mutodon. I'm not going to pick up the Hypsilophodon. I'm not really sure. Perhaps not. But if I see this one, I guess I'm going to have to pick it up, and perhaps the Ultimate Damage one as well. So, once again, sculpt isn't that bad. Paint, to be honest, could have been better. But I guess we'll move on to third spot. Coming in third spot, if comments are on, there's a very high chance that I will get blown up in the comments because of this pick. But I'm going to have to put the Hammond Collection in third spot. I really don't see how this could be better than the Dillo nor the Scorpius Rex. And I'll explain why, but here, I'll start with the positive things about this one. The sculpt really doesn't look that bad. The head, here. The head isn't half bad. There's a lot of detail in the mouth, at least on this picture. The teeth look pretty good. I feel like they're way too long and way too thin. And yeah, the head sculpt is pretty good. I'm gonna have to say that. I can't really tell in this picture. I'll see maybe if I'll put another picture, but I'm not sure whether they did the glass eye. I haven't been able to see, and that's really like a really good spot for the Hammond Collection would be the glass eyes. I don't know why they've stopped on it. Like even from last Hammond Collection line, the Sinoceratops, the Mosasaurus, the Ornitholestes, and the Dryosaurus, none of those have glass eyes, and that's something they've been killing it with. Like the Spinosaurus, that was insane. The Atrociraptor, the Stygimoloch, the Troodon. Like that's something that has been great for the Hammond Collection, and I don't know why they're stopping with it. Something that makes this toy really unique is that it's our first Hammond Collection that has a battle dam. I really like that they included this, because in the movie it is seen, and like the mercenaries are carrying the little piece, which is right there, and you can even see like the little chip, and that's honestly really something that gets it high. The battle damage, like that's really cool. That's something that hasn't been in the Hammond Collection so far, and it's really cool. I've said cool like 10 times at least. So overall, the Hammond Collection Indominus Rex isn't that bad. The claws are painted, so that's something I'm pretty happy about. And overall, the side looks really nice. I feel like the neck is a bit too thick and short. Like, that's something that kind of, like, bothers me, and it's what makes me, like, I don't know. Like, it looks weird, kind of. Some negative stuff about it would be the hand. As you see on the ones on the figure, they're kind of like grabbing hands. And if you take a look at the other, they seem to be the exact same thing. I've heard a lot of people say this, but it really would have been very nice to have kind of like the flat hands to show that it's like all on all fours. That would be really cool. Another negative thing about this is I honestly do really think that the tail is a bit too thick. I feel like it could have been a bit thinner, at least to the tip. It does look very short, I will say. Like, unlike the Hammond Collection Giga nor the Spino, like, that thing was massive on both of them. And, well, again, I'm not holding it in real life. Like, I'm just looking at pictures, like promotion pictures. So, again, we're not sure if this is actually how it'll come out, but I feel like it does look a bit way too short. And the last thing negative about this one is obviously the most obvious one, which is the color. The color definitely looks way too dark. The Indom is kind of like a light, darkish white. This is almost like a whitish brown. And the Indom doesn't really have any brown. Even on the back is like completely brown. The back is technically supposed to be like a more darkish gray. Another thing I don't really understand with this one is I may have to rewatch Jurassic World, but I don't really remember there being quills like down his back, like that far down his back. The quills, I will say, are pretty nice. I feel like there could have been a bit more. I feel like there's a lot of empty spots on it. The articulation on this really looks great. I'm just seeing now the hands, and I can't really tell whether the hand claws are colored. I feel like the claws could have been a bit longer, because I think in the movie they are a bit longer. Overall, this figure isn't half bad. It's definitely better than both of the T-Rexes, but I can't say this is going to be better than the Giga nor the Spino. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on this one. Now we're going to move on to the second spot. In second place, I'm going to have to put the Hammond Collection Scorpius Rex. And I'm going to be 100% honest, this does not look half bad. It actually really looks pretty nice. The only negative thing I would really be like the head. I feel like it's way too short. And it like rounds off. Like the top part really seems very short. The jaw seems kind of fine. The paint on the bottom jaw doesn't really seem to flow with the one that's on the underbelly. It's not that bad, I will say. I feel like all the quills that they printed went to this one and not the Indom. Because his head is very full of quills, and that's honestly pretty good. The eye doesn't seem to be glass eye, nor to have a pupil, which is kind of weird. And it does seem to be red, which it was red, but it did have, I think it's like orange tints to it. Again, I haven't seen Camp Cretaceous in a long while. The paint, I feel like, could have been a bit darker. And another thing that kind of bothers me with this one, the paint doesn't really flow onto the tail. Like, at least in this picture, I'm not sure in others, the tail seems like gray, like similar to the one that they used to the Indom, except without the brown, of course. It's not really like the black that they used for the Scorpius Rex, nor the underbelly. Like, that looks like a really pinkish tan, while this one looks more like the yellowish tan. So, yeah. Another thing pretty cool that they had would be the claws. I feel like that little claw thing is very big. It has been very big on some of the Indoraptors. The quills on the arm are also pretty cool. Like right there, it looks really nice. Another thing that kind of bugs me once again on this figure would be the hands. They do seem to be like kind of flat. So that's another thing, since it was on all fours on a lot of parts of the show. But once again, for this and the Indom, they're kind of a bit larger. So I feel like it would have been better to have like a little hinge where like the middle of the hand would be to like kind of fold the hand. That would have been really cool. Especially since they're large figures. Like, I don't really understand why like a replacement hand would work for large figures, at least. It's just my opinion. The quills on the tail don't look too bad. Like, they're honestly very good. It could have used a bit more. Something that I have been thinking about. But at the same time, this would be more for like a mainline thing. Or at least have it as an accessory. Like, at least to have a few separate quills as an accessory to show, like, it's stabbed into a different dinosaur. Like, that would have been very cool. But at the same time, like, it's the Hammond Collection. So, like, it's not really, like, the line that's able to be played, like, rough. But, like, for stop motion as well as collecting. And that would have been pretty cool. Another very interesting accessory that it comes would be, like, the little dino slobber that it comes. I think that's how you say it. It's honestly very interesting. This thing was drooling the entire show. So, like, I will say that, and I definitely understand why they would put this accessory. It does look pretty nice. So, on the figure, it doesn't really look too bad neither. So this Hammond Collection Scorpius Rex could be really nice. When it comes to the head, once again, it's pretty short. But the paint job overall, it doesn't really look that bad. So, I feel like this definitely deserves the second spot. I may get blown up in the comments saying that how is this better than the Hammond Collection Indom. But it's just my opinion. Y'all can have yours. But anyways, we're going to move on to the number one spot. And the number one spot, I'm going to have to give it to the Rebirth Dilophosaurus. And I'm going to be 100% honest, kind of like how I said in the intro. This line wasn't really that good, but it wasn't really that bad neither. The Rebirth Dilophosaurus really doesn't really look like the actual Rebirth Dilophosaurus. But when it comes to the crest, it does look pretty nice, but I feel like it's a bit too dark. The paint job is way too light, but at the same time, this is a pretty cool figure. And some people may think that it's a repaint. It does look like a repaint, but there are some spots where it does actually look like a remodel as well. Like the head. It definitely looks like a remodel from the original. Just like the original, it has this little accessory to show its crest is closed. Once again, this is going to be like a small figure, like the raptor scale figures, so it's not really that bad. It definitely looks a bit taller, I will say, than the original. The original Dilophosaurus. I feel like hand articulation would have been something pretty cool. But overall, this figure really doesn't look bad. The crest, like the head crest, seems a bit too light. I feel like it could have been a bit darker. Kind of like the neck crest. I hope this figure comes out really good. Once again, we're looking at promotion pictures, so it's not the actual. So, yeah, this is overall, it's not a bad line. It's not a good line either. But that is my ranking of the Hammond Collection. So yeah, that is gonna end it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Once again, this is just my opinion. I'm not forcing anybody to have an opinion, or well, to at least agree with me, because y'all can obviously have your opinion on these Hammond Collection figures. But yeah, I know I'm kind of late. I was just really busy last week. So yeah. Once again, I will get back to posting this week. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and comment if you can, as well as share the video if you'd like to. So, with that being said, this is the end of the video, and I'll see you. Peace.